What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. This is Brandon from Vegas, and Won't You Be My Neighbor? As always, we're here with my special guest, my co-host, my man, Pots and Pans, Mr. Bill Gaylord. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing awesome.
And today, you guys, this is probably going to be my favorite episode of all time because we usually have one smart guy in here, but now we have two smart guys in here. This is Mr. What's a Mortgage, a.k.a. Minh. This is legitimately one of the biggest lenders you guys will ever see on Instagram and TikTok. We actually was going over his stats, and you're number 12 now on
number
TikTok?
Number 12 on TikTok. We're just going to go loan officers, just pure loan officers, and then on Instagram, number 3.
Number 3. This guy has found a way to turn mortgages, lending, and all the things that are going on currently in the real estate world. He's found a way to make them interesting. And my question for you is, how long have you been doing this, and how did you find a subject that most people find kind of downing, kind of droll, and turning into something interesting and fascinating?
Well, I started in the business in 2003. So I was at Fullerton College, and I'm sitting there working, and my buddy sends over a copy of a check through an e-fax. Remember when e-faxes were around?
Yeah.
And I got this e-fax check. It was like $40-something thousand. I'm like, bro, did you cash out on an insurance policy? And he's like, no, this is 1 month of doing mortgages. I dropped out of college at that point. I sold my vending machine business. I'm like, whatever I need to do it, I'll do it. So when I sold my business, I had to sell my truck. So I rode the bus an hour a day, each direction, to go to work and start doing mortgages. So I got in 2003, and of course, the crash happened in 2008. Like everyone else, I put my tail between my legs. I moved back to my mama's house. Thank goodness my mom. I truly believe in home ownership because I had to go back to my mama's house. And then after that, I stuck it out. And of course, when everyone was getting out, I stayed. So I learned that do the opposite of what other people are doing.
Sure.
So I sat through the market, and of course, things were booming again. 2017, my own company crashed, and then I started doing social media summer 2017, and here we are today.
Took off from there.
Yeah.
And what was the point? I know me personally, there was like at least 5 times I wanted to quit, where I'm like, this just isn't going to work. Like I blew it, right? Everybody else is marketing the right way, and I'm here doing it on social media. I'm a failure. Did you ever have that moment, or did you see success early enough that it was just like skyrocket from the start?
No, in the beginning, it was crazy because I was thinking about this in 2017. I was losing everything, and when I was losing everything, on top of losing it all, I started owing money. We're going negative. So to do social while you're losing everything and going negative was really hard, and you're not seeing the rate of return. And I'm thinking, I'm going to be the first one to social. So I was posting twice a day. I saw Ty Lopez, that video with me and my Lamborghini.
Yeah.
So I posted twice a day, and when no one was putting content out there. And I was doing lives twice a week. And I had 5 followers. My mama, my dad, my brother, my business partner's parents, and that's it. And then when I was going live, when you go live, you see like a couple followers, and then they kind of fall off, and you're like, anxiety and stress. I'm like, dude, maybe this might not be for me. And while I was doing that, I dipped back into Zillow a little bit, into cold calling. And I was doing all that, like, man, like I'm helping realtors, and when I had LOs that work for me, I'm doing work for everybody else except for myself. So I need to stop that. So no matter how hard this is, I got to stick through it. And then 2018, I didn't see a rate of return. When I completely lost everything, I sold my house, and I was holding on to my last $50,000. Creditors come, like we had 500 grand. My wife took half. She moved on. I moved back to my mom's house again. And then out of 250.
Mom must have a great house, man.
And then, I paid creditors 200,000. I'm holding on to my last 50,000. I'm like, dude, I might need to find another job. I started like looking for other jobs while I'm putting videos out there. And then I had one video that hit. It went viral. Got 2,000 views.
Okay.
But to me, that back then was,
but do the quick video because it is awesome.
It was a video I put out there, and it was just
this.
off the top of my head. I'm like, man, what are people interested in? I tried explaining everything. All right, let me do a cheerleading. Give me a V. V, I got your V. I got your V. Give me an O. O, I got your O. I got your O. Give me an E. E, I got your E. I got your E. What's that spell? V-O-E. And back then, bro, I was not in shape. I was gassing. And the video editing, you can see I was like gassing so bad. People, I think, felt bad for me.
You sound like me after walking up a flight of stairs trying to film a house.
Yeah. And that video, my average view was like 100, 200 views, back then. And I was posting a lot. That one hit 2,000.
Yeah.
So out of my last 50,000, I put $100 a day into that ad. And all of a sudden, in a month, I hit 1.2 million views on that video because I couldn't crack the algorithm, but I knew the content was good.
So you had a successful video and then you ran ads behind it.
Correct.
That's so slick and smart. God damn, I'm stealing that.
And so when I ran an ad behind it, I started seeing they're watching a certain percentage of the video. Then I let them watch another video of me answering a Q&A. It's like, think about this. You watch a celebrity and all of a sudden you see, they're talking to normal people. Oh, maybe they are touchable.
Yeah.
Then people start DMing me, hey man, I have this question, I have that question. And then the ones that watch videos and they didn't pull the trigger, I gave them a guide to download. So I do the what they call it, I see if they're alive or not.
Sure.
Right? Proof of life, I call
Sure.
it. So if they watch a certain part of my video, they download the guide, okay, that lead is even hotter.
Sure.
And then now, organically, they'll start messaging.
Social media allowed you to do what in the real estate we call touches, right? Where you want to touch them so many times. Social media allows you to touch them without, actually being there. Was it hard for you to separate the people who were just asking questions because they were curious from the people who were genuinely interested in working with you and doing business with you?
Yes. So I learned, okay, there's a nugget. Some people say it can be true. Some people say it's not true, but I believe it's true because it's working for me. Social media, there's an audio and there's a visual. Nowadays, I notice TikTok is very audio and Instagram is very visual.
Yeah.
Back then, Instagram was very visual. So depending on what you want to say on the video, it will trigger the right audience.
Yeah.
If I keep saying 100% financing, free credit repair, that's the audience I get.
Yeah.
But if you talk about that, it's a longer play.
100%.
But if I go, if you buy this home 10% down with a 740 credit score, you're going to get people with 10% down already, 740 credit score. So the way you change your how you articulate what you want to social is just like talking to your girl, like, I'm a vegetarian. Then you can get vegetarian.
You're going to get vegetarian.
Like,
100%. So it's like when guys complain about, I only run into gold diggers. Well, you wear your gold around your neck. Like, you're making it easy for them to dig, right? There's not much for it. You're drawing what to attract. As lenders, because that's, I know on the real estate side, the kind of leads that we get from social media can vary wildly from what we get in real life. Mm-hmm. What are you guys seeing on your end? So if you get a lead from social media, how many of them are good leads compared to the ones that you get from your normal marketing that, traditional real estate marketing, as we call it?
I can say I don't do any traditional leads anymore. I don't want leads from realtors that have Zillow. I'll help them with their database and I'll market their database for them. But
May I ask why not?
Because you ever heard of you know what a ghost fart is?
A ghost fart? No.
You smell it but never see it. These other leads, they're ghost farts, man. You smell it but never see it, or they're so deep down the rabbit hole, So I don't prefer them anymore, especially my loan officers. It's a psychology thing. If they keep chasing a bunch of ghost farts, it kills their momentum to want to take calls.
Yeah.
So if you line up solid leads for them, then they have momentum going and they'll want to take calls. So now when people DM, we go through a chat bot. If they stop in the middle of chat bot, we'll answer their question with a question, and then we'll finish the chat bot question, then drop it into our CRM, and then it round robins it to our lender, and then we send them a text out. And the secret text is, what zip codes are you looking to buy in with a bedroom count? If I know at the top of my head what zip codes I like, it tells me I'm that much deeper in my search.
Sure.
Because I know my zip codes.
Sure, you're weeding people
out.
out.
So if they don't know their zip codes, it's going to be a long, bumpy ride.
Yeah.
So if the LO knows, they don't even know their zip codes, I'm in for a 30-minute conversation.
Sure.
If they tell me their zip codes, it's a 10, 15-minute. It's all about payment now.
100%. It's funny. That's when because we do a type form, right? For people, because when we first started doing this, I would just let people call me willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Hey, man, here's my number. Call me directly from live, right?
Now he goes, call Bill.
Yeah.
So I get all those calls now.
Actually, after this goes off, I need to pick your brain on some of your systems because I like the way you get everything uploaded to your CRM. We made one small change, and give me your opinion because you have to see the back end of this. We made one small change to our form, and it was simply asking people to contact me directly when they finish. That's it. That's the only change we made was, hey, when you finish this form, text me directly. The people who reach out to me and contact me directly to finish the form, the success rate is near 100%. It's like your zip codes. They're actively willing to at least start with Bill. The people who don't text me are people who are going to waste 30 minutes
Ghost
of your
farts.
time. Ghost farts.
Ghost farts.
I'm going to start calling them ghost farts. That's how we're going to label them now on. Would you say the same thing, Bill? Would you say, how would the leads change from what we do on social media to like the more traditional, oh, here's a realtor who farms a Zillow area code and feeds them out?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, when you and I were starting to work, I would get a lot of leads that were just like, they were like pie in the sky.
Sure.
And the way you have now kind of, people want it. If people want it and people want to actually get into home ownership, then I want to help them. I want to help them. There was a guy yesterday, one of your guys watching you. And I go, how did you get in touch with Brandon? Well, I watch Brandon. Well, you live in Philadelphia. Well, I watch him on my lunch break. And now we're working with him. We got his credit. He's a good buyer, but we have to clean up his credit. I'm willing to work with these guys.
Sure.
So credit is a big thing for what I'm seeing. But my thing is, I really focus on, do they want it? And do they want to go through the pain? And if they're willing to go through the pain, I'll go through it with them.
100%. 100%. I think going through the pain is the perfect way to put it, because there's people who want or claim they want the house, they want the loan, but they're not willing to go through the hard parts to do it. It's what I call the spoiled millennial. And I think you guys have, I think you more than anything have tapped into the spoiled millennial. The con is that they're not willing to go through the pain, but the pro is that in prior years, you would find your lender or your realtor by whoever sent out the most mailers, or whoever spent the most in the news. Now they just want to work with somebody they like, somebody that they trust, right? And
Correct.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that your social media does is it builds trust. You're giving them the same information the newspaper's giving, but you're giving it to a way that they understand, and you're a more trustworthy source than some anonymous journalist that they read about, right?
Correct.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I'm like almost twice both your ages, right? So I've seen a lot of things happen in the traditional marketing and the advertising and the print and the phone calls, all that kind of stuff. The thing that I really love and about the social media aspect of it is people want to do business with people. So you're a person, and it used to be B to C, business to consumer. Now it's people to people, and they want to deal with people that they trust, and that social media allows that to build the trust. And you guys have done a phenomenal job at building that trust. They trust you.
Yeah, you are one of. I'm not just saying this because the camera's on, and I follow you. I watch your videos. Like, I think most people who do real estate watch you, right? And it's because you're able to pull something off that none of us can pull off. You build trust capital through raw information. I can build trust capital by showing them a cool food spot, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, hey, this guy knows chicken wings. Maybe he knows real estate, right? But you do it through raw data and information. When did you realize that was like your market? When did you realize that that's how you were connecting to people the most?
So we were trying everything. Like, I tried the dances. I even took dance lessons.
You did take dance lessons.
I
I
worked on
remember that.
the lip syncing stuff. I did everything under the sun. Like I said, where audience was growing, but not at the high aptitude. And then I learned, like, people are concerned with payment and out of pocket. They don't concern about the journey. Everything that we think they're concerned about, they're not concerned about. Once I realized what they're concerned about, okay, cool. Now I know what they're concerned about. How do I find that profile? So I started talking about the economy a lot. So if someone doesn't know who Jerome Powell is, it's a lower, not quality lead, but a little bit less educated. So if I want that person that's going to be really educated, I'm going to talk about the economy. So when I started talking about the economy and building my profile with the economy and what I'm looking for, now it's a higher frequency, a higher quality client.
100%.
So that's what I started doing. Like, okay, cool. I found an audience. I'm going to cross my fingers. It might not be the biggest audience, but the audience that's going to yield me the best return.
Yes, it's a dedicated audience.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit. I swear, our off-camera conversations, we got to start being able to translate them to the thing, because we had a great conversation off-camera about being a news source for people and what people actually come to watch you for.
Yeah.
And your ability to even, there's some news articles that I read and I'm like, what is this thing saying? But then I'll see that same article on your page and you translate it so effortlessly.
Let me give you the secret.
Okay.
You just take the article, put in ChatGPT, summarize, and it summarizes it for you. You can take YouTube videos and do the same thing. Like, I always I have my artillery of my 10 guys.
Okay.
And I grab their 10-minute clips, not their full 1-hour videos. and then you can upload the video, and it transcribes it, and then boom, you can flip it into a summary, and now you just read the bullet points, and you have you know what's going on.
Look at y'all. Look at y'all.
AI.
Look at y'all in the future. That's incredible.
He's a smart dude.
Yeah. So man, see, I've been trying to incorporate more AI and ChatGPT into what I do.
Just plug in the article link, and it transcribes it for you, so you don't have to use, because there's Bard and there's regular ChatGPT. Just put in regular ChatGPT, not in Bard, and it'll translate it for you. Same thing with the YouTube videos. You can just copy and paste it transcribes it, and then boom, it translates it for you.
Man, this dude's giving away genuine pro tips.
This
I was
is good
not prepared.
Right.
Hold on, where's my notebook?
And you can
How
go turn
to
this-
steal Min's strategy.
And you can go, hey, ChatGPT, turn this into a 45-second reel script, line by line, talking to a novice buyer, and and then through that, I'll have the summary. I won't use it exactly, but at least I know how the tonality, and then I'll go, give me 10 hooks of like this, and then when they give me the hooks, I look for keywords, and look like the word collapse, scam. All right, cool, that's a cool word. Let me cherry pick these words now to get the hook to open up.
It sounds like you do a lot of focusing on people's pain points, right?
Correct.
The things that you said the most concern that they have, and you said you found that far more valuable than trying to focus on, let's say,
How to close escrow on time.
How to close escrow on time, right? They're not so much interested on that. Like they have so many fears before they get to the closing of escrow, right? And you're knocking those fears out, making it more comfortable for them to get to that end of escrow point.
Correct.
So, and you found payment and money out of pocket.
Correct. Like
those
my
are the
video,
two biggest things.
So we call it Mr. Steal Your Loan. We jack loans. we call it we jack loans all day long because we do a lot of videos on people overpaying. Like the scam. There's 2 scams recently. They've been around, but not
call it tricks.
Tricks. So but if you say the word trick, no one's gonna check it out. You say the word scam, I want to see what the scam is.
Okay.
And I learned that by using both words. So the word, when you say scam, so companies where, when a selling agent, they try to pitch a seller to sell a house with them, hey, I can get your fees lower. They have the title company or escrow company lower the seller fee and they put the fees over on the buyer side. And if you're a good enough LO, you'll catch it. Hey, these fees are like way above average. And then when you go back to tell them, hey, these fees are off, they're like, no. I'm like, no, they are. And through that video killed it for me because I'm catching the fees for the buyer and like, dude, make sure you don't overpay.
Yeah, and then you look at their fees and you go, this is not right.
Because they shot the deal with me like, dude, and the guy goes like, hey, why are the other lenders' fees higher? Like, oh, don't worry, it's just a rough estimate from they're going to lower those fees. Like, no, we're in escrow. Like, oh, those fees are way too high. Yeah. So we snagged that one, and through that video, loan estimates are coming in over and over and over again
to analyze.
Yeah.
And
so that's why I learned about those type of things.
Buyers will straight up just send you their current loan estimate.
Yes.
Yeah, I call it some days I'll do like beat that rake, where it's like I'm beating a rake, right. And then like yesterday I said my eyes are tired because I'm reviewing loan estimates, and this is how I'm beating other lenders. So first thing I try to be is straight up. Second, I'll shop with 4 other lenders. Third, I'll try to fix the credit. Fourth, then I'll lower my fees. So I go through a strategy, but I am transparent about it. And then so if you have a loan estimate, you want me to help you beat it or read it, send it over. It's like beat it or read it, send it over.
I like that.
So we drop that a couple days a week. And then we'll flash other people's loan estimate like, hey, I saved this person $11,500. What could you do with that money? And then I do a rating system. Would you get new washer and dryer? Would you do this? And then what would you do with an extra $11,500?
You're cracking all the pain points, and then on top of it, you're adding like dream fulfillment, wish fulfillment. Like I wish I could get this new washer and dryer. Well, hey, with the $11,000 that I save you over here,
you can get that.
Not only am I fixing your pain point, I'm making your wishes come true. So you're hitting them on both ends.
Now, are you doing this when they're actually in contract?
Yeah.
Getting the LA. So they're in contract.
They're in contract.
And you can you have enough time to essentially take the loan over and complete it.
And if they're deep in, I'm like, hey, you know what? Just send this to your LO, have them match that, and just stay with them. Because they're too deep in. Like I don't want that. I don't want that heat.
Sometimes you're like, ooh, gosh,
I don't want that heat.
Yeah.
From two guys who both do a good amount of media, and when I say media, I don't just mean TikTok. I mean just media. You guys have become very proficient at speaking on camera. What's the best advice that you would give someone who maybe is just starting as a loan officer, just getting into loans, and they maybe don't want to do things the traditional way, or they want an extra tool in their kit? What's the best advice you guys would give
for
them?
a loan officer?
Yes.
Or for a
loan officer?
For a loan officer. I would follow men. I think understanding you have to, there's 2 pieces to the puzzle. One, you have to get the phone to ring. And 2, you got to be really good at what you do to close the loan. But the first part is the hardest part, in my opinion.
Getting the phone to
is
ring?
Getting the phone to ring. So the marketing aspect of it, because you can fill in some of the deficiencies that you have by really qualified people. It's just getting the phone to ring.
Yeah, I think to get the phone to ring, you got to first identify your profile of what you want to reach through first, and not get a bunch of ghost farts. Once you've identified their profile, then identify their problem, and then put their problem in a formula. So to me, like my morning market update, I do like the one that's dropping today. We did a hawk. So I do a beginning, like the Feds meeting, the Feds came in hawkish. One time I do like Mama said knock you, like equity said knock you out. Like, so I'll pick a song. I know I get high. So like, because the age group that I want listens to that music because they are a higher probability.
So is it more millennial, your group?
No, I'm going silent generation. So right after baby boomer. So that I know for sure that I only pick songs they would know.
Yeah.
Because I know that's an audience that has a down payment. They've already effed up their life. They already restarted. They got their credit where they need to be. So I want that audience. So, and then once I formulate that, okay, cool. I always do some type of anchor to anchor that audience first. I explain the article, how it affects mortgages, rates, and then I ask a question that stimulates it. But so you have to, once you identify your audience, then you create the formula to anchor them right away. I call it the magnet right away, and then you go through it. So, but everyone has a different audience.
Yeah.
Can I tell you? Okay, you just exposed a super
I
social
see
media.
this
No, I love
really
it. I love
great
it.
smile.
I knew having you on was going to be the best thing. I'm telling you, I knew having you on was the best thing ever. What you just said is, if I could give no other social media advice, it's what he just. Everybody watching this, if you want to start your social media, I don't care if you're a business, a creator, anything. What he just told you on camera is perfect. Give your audience what they want. I noticed that a lot of my wealthier clients, every time I took them to lunch, I was like, hey, pick anywhere you want to go. With like a 99% accuracy, they wanted Mexican food. No matter, I'm telling you, $1 million buyers love Mexican food. So guess what I started doing? I posted every single Hispanic Mexican restaurant in all of Las
your
Vegas.
taco challenge
And the taco
too, right?
challenge.
Yeah.
Why? Because my target audience loves Mexican food. And I need them to watch my Mexican food videos so they can come buy big ass houses from me.
Yeah. You
And did it perfectly. You even down to the song selection, you chose things that would target the audience you're looking for.
Correct.
And I think that's the smartest shit ever. Anybody watching this, take that. Seriously, out of all the things you're going to steal from Minh after this episode, steal that, because that's a hit right there. Guys, I have so much to say. We're going to do a double episode on this one, because speaking about pain points, we want to follow up with what you guys are seeing as the 2 biggest pain points out there for people. So this is going to be a wrap on part 1 of Won't You Be My Neighbor. We're going to come right back for part 2. It'll be 2 different episodes. Thank you guys for the first part. That was really engaging. Minh, I wanted the audience to know more about you, and I think they did. Bill, as always, thank you guys. We're going to come right back for part 2. Won't you guys be my neighbor? Stick around. Welcome back to Won't You Be My Neighbor. I'm your host, Brandon from Vegas. As always, we're here with my special co-host, Mr. Bill Gaylord. And since it is part 2, we had to bring him back for the banger. This is Mr. Minh, a.k.a. What's a Mortgage? These guys just carried part one with all the information you guys need to know about lending, how you got started, who these people are, because that's the important thing in the modern real estate world. You got to know who you're working with. Here in part two, we want to focus on one thing and one thing only: the major pain points right now for buyers and sellers of real estate. So starting with you, Bill, what would you say in the current market are the 2 or 3 biggest pain points for buyers when they reach out to you?
Well, we talk all the time about credit, income, assets, like a 3-legged stool. You have to have all 3 legs to make it stand, right? Same thing with a mortgage. You got to have all 3 things. Credit sometimes definitely an issue. Income is also part of it because of the affordability. To me, one of the biggest things is money for the down payment.
Money, I'm seeing that a lot lately, is money for down payment. So out of the 3 things, out of credit, out of savings, and as money for down payment, which one are you seeing people fail with the most out of those 3?
Out of those 3, I am going to say it's mostly the credit, and I'm going to say money for the down payment.
Money for the down payment. So you have people who make decent income,
Yes.
but their credit for some reason isn't as high as their income is, or they make a good income, but they're bad at saving.
They're bad at saving. I think that's a big thing. I think that, you get into real world, you kind of spend. You just there's so many things to do, and they don't develop a savings plan. 100%. And that's honestly probably the biggest part. They may save enough for the down payment, but they don't have enough for closing costs.
Yeah.
And it used to be where you could get a seller to pay closing costs. It changed. It may come back that way, but you got money for a closing cost as well.
I would say, and it's because it's mostly my generation. We're the big supposed generation of house buyers, and we are shitty at saving money. I swear to God. When I was making $500 a month, I would spend $499. And when I made $5,000 a month, I would spend $4,999. No matter how much money you give me, I will spend right up to that limit. And it's the savings part,
It's the
right?
savings part.
And Minh, same question for you. What are you seeing right now as the 2 biggest pain points for the average buyer?
Uncertainty, number one. Like, if I buy now, what happens if prices drop? If I buy now, what happens if the mortgage payments drop? Uncertainty of the market is number one. And number 2 is visualizing what mortgage payments really look like. So, on Fridays, we always do numbers on Fridays so people can visualize, okay, this is how much I need for this. Once they can visualize it, then it gives them a clarity. Okay, I'm going to become a homeowner, or hey, I'm not going to become a homeowner, so I'm going to take my money and invest it in something that's going to yield me a return. Then, we get rid of all the people who don't want to buy, because if you can see the numbers, you're like, all right, cool, I can buy.
Do you ever feel like a stockbroker? In the main, what I'm saying is that people come to you expecting you to have a crystal ball to be able to say, like, hey, buy this stock, it'll make this much money, right? Or they're looking for a level of like certainty, a level of guarantee from you that they don't expect elsewhere. Like when they put their money in Amazon, they're not calling Amazon like, hey, if I don't make at least $1,000 per month, this is a failed experiment. Whereas in real estate, they're like, there's so many things that can go wrong that they're afraid of, right? I think uncertainty is the perfect word for it.
Yeah, so when they come to me, the first thing I ask them, like, I genuinely ask them, hey, what do you do for a living? Is your job recession proof? Is there a chance you're gonna lose your job? And then if they say no, then you might wanna look at home ownership. The second thing I ask them is, so if you bought a $500,000 home today, every year, even if you take out the dips, it appreciates 3%. So if your money is making you more than $15,000 a year, then don't buy a home. So if it's not, then I would consider it. So I don't tell them to buy a home. I just ask them, hey, is your job safer? So now they know that I'm asking about them. Like before we pick a restaurant, like let's say you're a student on a budget, right? And I go, hey, where would you like to eat? What can you afford to eat at? Instead of me picking a restaurant, then you go in there making feel uncomfortable, like, man, I can't order anything, or I got to order on the left side, I can't order on the right side. Yeah. So I think I attack that question first, and that kind of lists like, oh, this guy actually cares. He wants to know. And then I tell him, hey, maybe you shouldn't buy a home.
Maybe you shouldn't. I think that's one of the strongest things. I love it. Bill, you do this too. And I've actually had clients who call me back about that. And I tell them, no, he's trying to look out for you. Why would he tell you to buy a home when it may not make financial sense for you, right? He's He genuinely cares about you as a person. And I like that you show that same gumption as well, because we all know people in this industry who are like, no, I'm closing this loan no matter what. I don't give a shit about that person buying a house. I just need that loan closed.
Yeah.
By showing that you care about, I think that's what the millennial buyer is looking for, is someone who's gonna look out for their best interest, right?
Correct.
Speaking of millennial buyers, we are like the student loan debt generation, right? Like we all, whether we finish college or not, we are all there. How do you guys tackle that when someone calls you and it seems like they make good income, but then you check the student loans and you're like, holy shit, $100,000, right?
And it is coming up, right? Obviously, they're going to start accruing interest in September. They're going to start making payments in October. So those student loans, and they've been deferred for a long time in deferment. And so what's going to end up happening from our standpoint, we look at those payments on student loans, regardless of whether they're in deferment or whatever, as a 0.5% of the outstanding student loan balance. That's the lowest. You can go to 1% as well. The other thing is you can get onto an income-based repayment plan, and that can actually lower the payment on the student loan from a qualifying standpoint. The problem with that is that if you do that, it can actually create negative amortization. It can help you qualify for a loan, but it actually can be negative amortization on a student loan. So you don't want to stay in that program long.
So would you guys want, since there's so many risks and pitfalls to this, would you guys want someone to come to you first? If their goal is to get a home, would you want them to come to you guys first before they started doing anything in terms of payments with student loans or pushing them into the past? Would you guys want them to speak to you guys first?
Definitely what we do on our team, we do a soft mortgage credit pull right away. So it doesn't hurt their credit, so they know where they stand. So they're either going to put a game plan together to buy, or hey, owning home is not in my destiny for the next handful of years. Let me go work on something else.
Sure.
But at least let's know where they stand. Once they know where they stand, we put them on a home search to make sure what they want matches the payment. Because sometimes their payment is not going to match what they can afford. Then you've done all that work for nothing, and then you got their hopes up. They already called their cousin. Oh, I got approved. Oh my God, Tommy, I got it. And then all of a sudden they get on the home search and they go out there. It's like, man, Tommy, it wasn't what it's cracked up to be.
They're always so excited to start to look at houses, right?
Yeah, but I've been doing this a long time, and I know you feel the same way. But I look at every conversation I have as once in a lifetime, and I want to put myself out there as like helping them, because I love doing what I do, but they haven't had that education. They don't know about their credit. They don't know what debt to income ratios are. They don't know how much money they need, what a plan is to actually budget and save. They don't teach it in high school. They don't teach it in college many times. And so credit is a game, and understanding all that. So I just want people to be motivated. I want them to actually want to improve their situation. And they may have really bad credit, but they were never educated on that. Let's get them going. Let's get them with a credit repair, get their credit going so that they can do it. And I may have one conversation with them up front, but that conversation is going to be my best. Life-changing, and that's what I want to do, is I want them to get to the point where they want to be, and they just don't have the background and the experience that they've never had it.
Bill's too nice.
Well, I know we're all looking at like, what are the qualified leads? I agree with that, but I also believe that if people want it, it could be, we have a 90-day game plan. Yeah. And it's a booklet that goes out there, but it could be 9 hours, it could be 9 minutes, it could be 900 days, it could be 9 years, you just never know. So we want, personally, if they want it, we're going to try and help them get to where they need to be.
So to me, I operate a little bit differently. So I know the lenders that are going to deal with those that type of clientele. And because if it comes to me, I'm not going to do the best job at it, not because I don't want to. For me, because we do broker, it's just, I know where my specialty is and what I'm not good at. So if I'm a foot doctor, you come to me with your throat problem and I try to help you out, you're going to get your foot stuck in your throat. Yeah. You know what I mean? So what I don't specialize in, I go, hey, I can do this, but it's not going to be great. You should go call so and so because this is their bread and butter.
Oh, that's what I do too.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
obviously.
to me, we deny, not deny. We hey, go here. So we have our list of our agents or our loan officers that they do the 100% financing with the lower FICOs. They have companies that they work with that do all the credit repair. You know, because if I step into it, it's not going to be done to that point.
You're enough to be dangerous, but you don't know how to really.
Correct.
fix it.
100%.
Yeah.
I know enough about lending to ask you guys questions. When you guys get into amortization and people start, I said, this is real estate 101. If you want 203, if you want 504, here's my lender's number. Like, we're crossing the boundaries.
Yeah, when they ask for like 203Ks, what's it called? Condo approvals, I just send it out. Because to me, like, it can get done, but you ain't gonna be happy.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy for that, right?
Correct.
The other big elephant in the room, besides myself, is obviously the current.
You're getting in shape, there,
Man,
Brandon.
that personal
You're
training.
looking good,
Hey,
buddy.
Mike, if you watch this, boy, I'm hitting them. I'm hitting them weights.
Brandon, you make a victory post every morning. You're not an elephant.
Well, I'm working on it. I'm going from an elephant. I'm trying to get down from like
A water buffalo.
So water buffalo, that's right.
Water buffalo.
Hippopotamus, baby. I'm coming down the scale. The biggest elephant in the room is obviously the interest rate, where we've all kind of see it fluctuate, but it fluctuates down, then it they had a 0.25, and now it's sitting at what right now?
8% today. I saw today was 7.58, 8% today.
Yeah, I mean it's the best rates out there are for like the high class, high quality, that FICO, loan to values, but a lot of, I mean, it should be at 8%.
Yeah.
It's like high 7s, low 8s.
If I walk into either of you guys' office, or are there even offices anymore? Everything's pretty much phone call, right? If I call you guys, right, and I have, I'm an average guy. I got a 690 credit score. My debt to income is like 41%. I'm walking out with an 8% right now, right?
If you probably have to go FHA, you probably be conventional. You're probably 8. FHA, you're probably like 7, maybe 7.25.
That'd be higher.
Okay, so
I mean, we're like, we just locked one at 7.75.
Why is it so much higher for conventional than
giving some
FHA
PV.
currently?
Well, conventional is always higher because I think FHA, it's backed by the government,
Yeah.
so it's a lower risk for the investors.
Sure.
And FHA has really come into play because they lowered the mortgage insurance
Yeah.
To 0.55. And conventional, if you don't have a good FICO score, I mean, that mortgage insurance
you got to be
can
above
out of control.
740.
Yeah, it's out of control on conventional.
Yeah, that's what I think the content that killed it for me this year that pushed my views up and my followers up is that FHA beat like an FHA buyer with a 660 is going to get the same rate as if you go conventional with a 720. So that really changed the game.
FHA has really come into play.
He's not joking, you guys. That's legitimately one of my bookmarked videos on it. I don't bookmark many videos, right? Like restaurants, I don't care. I've been there, but like your videos, I'll bookmark. And you did one recently that was actually the inspiration for everything I wanted to do today. And I'm going to let you explain it because you're going to do it better than I did. But you explained why waiting for the 6% interest rate could actually hurt some people.
Correct. So right now, so let's say rates are at 8%. So right now, if rates drop to 6, you would have 9 million more people qualified out there. And
it's huge.
So you have 9 million more people, but there's only 600,000 homes for sale. So with 600,000 homes for sale, if rates drop from 8 to 6, you're not going to get more buyers.
No.
I mean, more sellers.
It's a supply problem.
Yeah, because 42% of homes have no mortgage, and 97% have interest rates under 6%. So that is locked in. So the little bit you have, but with 9 million more buyers, it's just going to drive up prices
100%.
more. So that's that's why it's going to be crazy.
And values are going to go up. People are going to jump in. One thing that before I stop, Warren Buffett just made $800 million investment into 3 home builders.
That's my video on Friday.
Is that your video on Friday? So that guy knows what he's doing.
I'm not betting against Warren Buffett. Like,
Don't bet against Warren Buffett. There's not enough homes.
Yeah,
it's a supply problem.
$814 million. DR Horton's number 1. That's 7, and then the other 2 was Lennar and NVR.
Yeah. And you're starting to see these companies, which scares the crap out of me. They're starting to build like rental only housing. Have you guys seen some of those where they build?
I got some good friends
for
who
rent.
The Sun Belt is huge right now.
Yeah. Which is crazy because they're building houses, but it's not like you're going to be able to buy them. These are just more rentals.
No, they're actually putting them on a plat of land that's not subdivided.
That's insane.
Yeah, but they're houses.
To speak on the point you made earlier, and we made a joke about this before, and I think this is safe. I don't think we're going to get canceled for this, about the interest rate dropping and 9 million new buyers, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you're at a bar and it's just you and your 3 buddies, right? And it's ladies' night at the bar. There's 40 beautiful homes at the bar, and only you and your 3 buddies are here to buy them, right? Which means you're probably going to get a better deal. They're probably going to lower their standards for your ugly ass, right? Like, you got a better shot. The second the rates drop to 6.0, 500 rich dudes storm the bar. What chance do you have now when, NBA players standing behind you going after the same girl? She wants the 6'6" dude making $20 million a year. You're Joe Schmo working at, your 9 to 5, right? You're making it harder for yourself to succeed by waiting for more buyers to hit the market.
Well, so with the analogy you just said about so like when you're the 3 guys at the bar and there's a bunch of women there and there's not a lot of guys there because it's full price.
Because it's full price.
So it's not because it's cheaper, because it's full price. But as soon as happy hour kicks in, or like it's drinks prices drop, like Taco Tuesday, or like whatever special occasion it is, when the price drops, more people will enter, and when more people enter, that's when there's like now you got to sacrifice more to get that girl.
100%.
Like, now you got to flash the Lambo keys or the Yaris keys.
It's like when I do a restaurant, right? I tell people you want to get to a hidden gem restaurant before it's popular. Because when it's a hidden gem, they're willing to do mom and pop plate specials for $8. Once the place blows up, ain't no more plate
retail.
specials, bro. It's retail
It's
price
retail.
now.
I went to
And plus.
I landed. We called Urban Rye. Is it Urban Rye?
Yeah, Urban Rye.
We called and like, okay, when it was full price, it was dead.
Yeah.
When it was like, happy hour, dude, it was like, never mind.
It's
I'm
crap.
I'm
It's
Their
crap.
happy hour, but their happy hour is pretty good price
Yeah.
too.
Do I want to pay $60 for a steak, or do I want to pay $30 for
Yeah.
a steak? I think I'll wait for happy
wait
hour.
for happy
Yeah,
hour.
100%. But so many people, because of a lack of financial education, because of a lack of credit history and things like that, they don't know that it's better to go when there's less competition. All they see on the news, and I know I see it on my social media, this is the worst time to buy, interest rates are sky high, but they don't tell them like, hey buddy, the second those rates drop, so many more people are going to jump on the market who can outbid you. You are qualified for $400,000. They are qualified for $600,000. That house that you want at $400,000 right now, when the rates drop, that's going to be a $450,000, $475,000 house.
And they get that. I mean, a lot of my buyers right now are educated from you, and they're basically understanding the dynamics of what's going on, the lack of supply, interest rates high. If it drops, more buyers coming in. So it's a different mindset. They're starting to become into a different mindset and just understanding that they really need to jump into the market now. And that's going to be the highest payment that they have, because over time, they can refinance as it comes down.
On a selfish level, I want the market to crash. You know why? Because if there's a reset, there's more buyers for me to put in the escrow. Right now, think about it. We only have a handful of buyers that qualify.
Yeah.
So if prices drop, like as a lender, people are like, you think I like telling you prices are up? You think I like telling you there's a lack of inventory?
They think you make more money because the rates go up.
I'm like, so like if a home went from 500, 600,000, I make $1,000 more. But if homes drop from 600 to 500,000, I have 10 more people I can put in escrow if there is inventory for it.
Yeah.
So I would make more money if prices come down. If prices come down, that means there's more inventory. That means I can recycle. Think about this. All the clients already closed. Now I have a new set of clients I can put in escrow. It's like, I want it to crash. Like, you don't think I want it to crash? I need to upgrade, but I can't upgrade if that's not enough deals. So so I pitch it in that direction where I want the market to crash. I want to be wrong, because if it stays this way, I'm going to have to go get another job.
Yeah.
Live in your mom's house again.
Yeah, but it's right back to mom. Hey, shout out to mom, man. Your house must be cozy as shit. Does she cook too?
Yeah.
She cooks. I'm coming to stay at mom's house too, man.
That's right.
No, I don't have a crystal ball. None of us have crystal balls, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because the audience is going to want to know, we have an educated opinion, at least more educated than the people out there who they don't trust, that they don't have a relationship with. So from the lending standpoint, where do you guys see the market going, at least for the next 5-6 months or till the year ends?
My opinion?
Yeah, you.
My opinion is I think we're going to be at this same type of level probably through at least the end of the year. And I don't think it's going to be until at least the second half, maybe the third quarter of next year, we'll start to see them come down. That's just my opinion.
I think rates are going to stay up till the end of the year. I think it's going to level off by the end of the year because I think so. All the summer jobs, the leisure and hospitality, which made up most of the ADP, should end September, October. So all that job market, the true job market will stick out. And I think that's when you see shelter finally come down because it's been a year now, it's lagged.
Yeah.
And the student loans will kick in. So I think all of that will start hitting CPI November, December. So
For the audience, what's CPI?
inflation.
It's
Inflation.
consumer price
Yeah.
index.
Okay.
So I think all those report will hit November, December, and then I think that's when we'll hold. That means we won't hike anymore. So I know there's a hike, even though you check the media, not the market, it's not pricing in the quarter hike in September. But after yesterday, hawk meeting, now they're pricing it. I mean, they're pricing another hike. So there's 3 more meetings. So I think once all that hits and they stop hiking, like, hey, we can't cut rates.
Yeah.
But we're going to stop hiking. When they stop hiking and we have a certainty, rates will drop automatically because now the banks know, like, cool, there's no more hikes. The spread, which means like how much they need to make, there's no more fear like, oh, we might hike more. I got to charge a higher rate. So if they don't have to charge a higher rate, typically the 30-year fix, which I learned from your partner, is about 2% above the 10-year bond. So right now it's at 4.3. So right now, if we knew we're at hiking, rates would automatically drop to 6.4. So let's say by the end of the year, it stays, let's say 4.
7,
7, then whatever that is, I'm saying it's going to be 2% above that. So I think rates will flatten out. And then when the economy hits the worst, it's when when they start backing off on rate hikes, and that's when we'll see the drop.
And I think we could see a big drop fast. I honestly think it could go down
the
very
no
fast.
more hiking itself would just cause.
I think right now everyone's following the Fed and where they're going, and they're going, ooh, what do they know behind the scenes? You know, who the Wizard of Oz and what's going on. And I think that when the Fed basically says we got inflation under control, like, because there's so many factors, there's international factors, there's war, there's all sorts of things going on. But I think when they get that settled, we're going to see rates drop fast.
So you're saying the people who are going to be most successful are those who are tracking the CPI, seeing when things stabilize and hitting the market because they assume that rates are going to go down. So rates hike up slowly, but you say when they go down, they're going to go down.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm
I
with you
think because there's a big spread.
when you know there's certainty, hey, we're not hiking anymore, we're done hiking, then automatically the banks can back off. If the banks back off, we should see just a drastic drop because right now, like, the spread is above 2%. It's almost at 4%. So you would lose 2% off the spread.
This is the smartest podcast we've ever done so far. By the way,
The other thing is the economy too. You know, with all those rate hikes, like all that interest rate, you know, the average credit interest rate on credit cards over 20%, right? You got car loans going up. So everyone's going to start spending money on interest. Interest is not a good or service. It's air, right? And so that's going to, I think, slow the economy down, and that's what they intended it to do.
Jesus, man, I'm not sure. This is the uncertainty you're talking about because I'm not sure whether to be nervous, excited, right? But ultimately, I think, and this is what I tell people from the real estate end, right? Because everybody has things that we tell our clients to help calm them down or provide some sense of reassurance. I tell them, hey, listen, I know the rates aren't where you want them to be, but rent ain't getting any cheaper. Right,
100%.
The rent ain't getting any cheaper.
And I think what he said is that bringing in potentially 9 million
More buyers.
if you don't buy now and go through some like nervousness, I think those values are going to go up. It's a supply issue, and we're not going to see a lot of supply.
And if you want to think about it, I'm not being political, but I'm telling you this right now. No, because of how the media works now and social media, doesn't matter right or left. No one wants it on their watch that people lost their home.
Yeah.
So you think about, oh, the market's going to crash. All these people are going to become homeless. Every politician, both sides, so don't get it twisted, okay?
Yeah.
They have mortgage moratoriums in play. They have so many things in play to make sure people don't lose their homes. So like, I'm sitting there salivating, waiting for a crash. It's not going to happen because these politicians are like, there is forbearance. Like if you have a government loan, you have 12 months forbearance. You have a conventional loan, FHFA just released a 6-month forbearance. So they're going to keep you in your house. And anyone, if you're proactive and you're not waiting for them to foreclose on you, they're modifying. I'm seeing 40-year fixed at 2.75. You think that person's going anywhere? They're gonna rent out their house at
Forever.
most.
No.
Right? So like because it's kind of how
because
the
of the
system
2008
works.
crash.
Yeah.
they
You know
put
how the
these
system
things.
works now. It's like you know how the system works. You know next year's election year. You think that guy is gonna let anyone like and then the guy who wins after him like nah, not on my watch player. You know what?
100%.
Let me keep. Hey Jerome, turn that shit back on. Turn that printer back on.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
But because you know all that, it's like it's not gonna. There's infinite. You know,
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen.
You could do 100 correct things as a politician, but if people lose their houses, you're the worst. You're the worst politician. You're the worst president I've ever had. Right?
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care, and you're right. I think I can always bet on politicians wanting to keep their job. That's the one thing that I can always go with. Right?
Yeah.
And election years, they generally go like this.
Yes.
Rates.
Yes, and people have to know if the interest rates do plummet like that. Again, you guys, these are just our opinions. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody. These are just two very educated people who have been doing this for a long time. So I would take what they say seriously, right? If the interest rates do plummet down like that, prices are going to skyrocket worse than 2021.
Well, Bill. So you know what
think it's a
you know what
frenzy.
2024 is, right?
Yeah.
What's next year? Election year.
Yeah.
In 2020, when Orange Man was president, where were rates? In the twos. What do you think they're setting up for? It's like, call me Nostradamus, but I'm telling you right now, next year, as election goes up,
Oh, yeah.
you need people in the voting booth. You got to bring those rates back down.
Because what do they have left?
100%.
They got two big bombs left, right?
Yeah.
Make weed legal everywhere and interest rates.
Yeah.
Those are your two big political
Yeah.
bombs for either side to push for, right? And
correct.
God, I hope it's the weed thing. Our businesses would really like that, Mr. President, whoever you are, man. Hey, I want to thank the both of you. We've never done a double episode before, but I knew the second that they told me you were coming, I was like, no, bro.
I met you because of him.
That is a small world.
Yeah.
Then we've reached a small world.
Yeah.
And it's good. I can't believe it's funny. I can't believe I haven't met you at this point, right? And I'm glad we did because I love the way you do business. I love the way you provide. I've sent some of your clips to some of my potential buyers just because you explain things in a way that's engaging and smart. And so few, I can't do that. You guys, I'm not making smart content. Listen, I'll be the first person to admit I'm not making smart content, but you do. And I'm glad you brought that onto the show. My goal was for people to have both of you have a conversation because you're the smart people in the room, and I'm just here to get the information out of you that they're interested in. And I think we did that today, and I appreciate the shit out of both of you. Minh, could you please tell them how and where to reach you? They can pretty much find him on all platforms.
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at What's a Mortgage.
Hell yeah. Bill?
BillGaylord.com.
And if you guys can't see the camera right here, we're about to go live. So we got Bill's info directly on the back screen right here so you guys can reach this man. Minh, are you going to be joining us on our live?
When today?
Yeah.
I'm with you guys today.
We're just going to try to provide some info to
Yeah.
people, man. Hook them up.
It's fun.
Oh yeah,
They're gonna go
today.
boom,
Like
boom, boom,
I'm,
boom.
with, I'm with Robert today. I'm with
And
Mark.
then, Robert, where are we eating today?
We're doing Vietnamese and Filipino.
Vietnamese and Filipino.
Nice.
Yeah, we do this thing where we explore all the cultures around Vegas that make Vegas so amazing. So for me, we did German food and soul food. Had some fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
For Bill, we did some traditional American.
I saw soul food. I was like, dude.
Oh, bro.
so
we had
good.
Bill.
Oh my
We had Bill eyed us up,
I
right?
was so full.
Oh, and then today we're
And I want to do one with my daughter before she goes to the Navy.
100%.
Yeah, I got a good one
100%.
for us.
Okay, you picked the spot, man.
I got it.
Hey, Grace, we're proud of you. I'll do this every single episode until you leave, girl. We're proud of you.
She's got about 2 more weeks.
Good for you, girl. She's about to be in the Navy.
Boot
In
camp.
the Navy. Hey, thank you guys for your time. As always, I'm Brandon from Vegas. Just throw me into your Google. I talk too much as it is.